Joining us now from our Los Angeles bureau is Showtime President David Nevins. David, welcome to Bloomberg West. So our show is all about innovation and changing business. Give us a sense of the current TV landscape. Where is innovation happening in cable right now?
Well, there's a lot of innovation going on the screen, but I think what you're asking about is innovation, how people are watching television, and that's obviously changing very rapidly. There are such a rapid proliferation of screens where people watch, mobile viewing, whether iPad, iPhone. There's a million different ways that people are seeing it. I think fortunately for us, we are a subscription business, and we have been a subscription business for the history of Showtime. So we have what other people are looking for, which is people are comfortable paying for our content, and have always found it to be worthwhile. And that's been a good business for us.
Yeah, well, it's interesting with so much rich content, as Amazon and Netflix are kind of bumping up their offerings and adding content as well as a new distribution stream. How do you look at that, and how do you plan your content decisions around that?
Well, there was a decision made before I got there.
That was quite a side. This is big stuff.
No, there was a decision made before I got there that it's really about original programming, and original programming has been a great, is a renewable resource, and that has been a great answer for Showtime, and it's really driven our growth over the past several years. Matt Blank, Leslie Moonves, the choice was invest fundamentally in original programming and series, because that's where your branding comes from. People identify the cable service based on the series, and if you love Dexter, if you love Weeds, if you love The Big C, it's going to be back next year. So and that keeps people writing the check every month, which is what drives our business. So I think that's been the secret, and of course everybody's trying to get in original programming. I think we have a pretty defined brand, and as a paid service, we don't have some of the limitations that other people do. So we have total freedom in the kinds of stuff that we can put out, and like being in the renewable resource business is what we call series.
David, where are you placing your bets for the future? Is it mostly original programming? What about reality? What about talk shows? We're
moving in lots of different directions. It's original scripted series. We're definitely doing reality programming. Reality programming for us, I think, is a little deeper, a little more documentary. We're doing the show with the San Francisco Giants and Major League Baseball, which I'm very excited about. We're going to embed with the Giants over the course of the next 10 months and really cover the entire franchise in a way that I don't think anybody's ever seen professional sports covered that way. We're big investment in sports. We have the Manny Pacquiao fight on April 7th. We're doing late night documentaries, but of course the big bet is still original programming, and we're going hard after that, and we're going to have 2 or 3 series on the air every week, 52 weeks a year. So that remains the big push for us.
Yeah, we'll be glad to see more of my Giants on Showtime and anywhere else. But what is it about sports? What does sports get you in terms of demographic, or is it also just about branding the network?
Sports obviously bring in men. It's really important with pay cable that you try to be balanced with men and women, because it's a significant investment every month, and you want both the man and the woman in the household supporting the network and wanting to write the check. So sports is an important part of getting male watchers. And I think sports has a special place on premium cable, where there are things that we can show and places that we can go in a sort of deeper, richer, more complicated way over time without commercial breaks. That works really well on pay cable. And I think the Giant Show, which we're going to call the franchise, is going to give you, I think, pretty unique access.
So considering all of this, David, what are you really banking on to drive up subscriptions?
I'm banking on having the best stuff on television, having award-winning. We've done very well at the Emmys, the Golden Globes the last couple of years, and I'm banking on having the most interesting programming on television and being excellent. We've got everything from Shameless, which is, we started in January, still on the air right now, which is done incredibly well for us and is looking like it's going to be really one of our big 3 series, to The Borgias, which starts at the beginning of April, which is Jeremy Irons in a what we're calling the original crime family. Is I think we have sticky programming, and that's what's going to make our future.
Why does Californication work? What is it about that show that makes it work, and what do you sort of see it as?
First and foremost, it's a really compelling character. People love Hank Moody. I think they relate to him. He's a extreme version of a certain kind of guy. He's a walking id, and I think we get to experience and live with that guy, experience what it is to live on the edge, and I think it really comes down to Hank is played by David Duchovny.
You've got a great track record, David. How do you know?
He gives some of my more recent credits.
But how do you know it's going to be a hit? What is it?
Anybody who tells you they actually know what makes a hit is lying to you. All I can do is, I'm always trying to push the medium forward, and not. I know the difference between boring and predictable. I know the difference between surprise. What's the difference between surprising and predictable? The difference between boring and interesting. And you just try to bring the audience somewhere they haven't been before, and show them stories where they don't know where they're going, and then it comes down to good casting, good writing, great concepts, great actors. But hits are very hard to capture. But there's so much on television is not ambitious. If you could just have a little bit of ambition, you can be ahead of the curve.
But do you have a gut feeling about things, or are you pre-screening audiences with some of these shows multiple times? It's
largely still a gut business. I know what I like. I know what's interesting. I know what I feel like could be the next new thing, and that's what we're constantly looking for. And if you're right more often than you're wrong, then you get to keep moving forward. I still approach it like a producer. I'm a producer sort of in my core, and it helps to be different, and then to be riveting that's the audience to decide.
So, David, let me ask you a final question. What demographic is the toughest for you, though, when you're trying to plan out your programming? There's a certain demographic you're trying to hit. What's the toughest one to get to?
Well, believe it or not, we're not driven by demographics. We don't sell advertising, so for us, it's we want anybody who is willing to write a monthly check to get Showtime. So we're trying to actually stay quite balanced between men and women, and between older and younger. And certainly, you're seeing, as television is migrating to many different platforms, I think there's more of a premium on getting younger viewers. Obviously, young viewers with a lot of disposable income are the hardest group to hit and to capture. But we live in a world now where you better be somebody's favorite show, because it's no longer, well, you're the show that was next to Friends or next to ER. Therefore, you stay on the air for 5 years. It doesn't really work that way anymore. So the hardest thing is to be somebody's favorite, and I think that's what sort of drives Showtime, is very distinctive shows that don't really resemble each other. But
David Nevins, thank you very much. David Nevins, President of Entertainment for Showtime. We appreciate you coming by here on Bloomberg.
Thank you.
West. Emily?
It's a pleasure.